As I said, I still believe this is Blake Lively herself.
Yeah, we've lost some talk.
Hi, and welcome to Blossom Talk. I'm Tashley Flaw, journalist, Hollywood truth teller, and your voice of reason in a town built on delusion. So yesterday, I did speak about this sacred new witness that Blake Lively has presented in the docket, and I think the secret witness is Blake Lively. Apparently, there is a footnote here that I missed. I will talk about that shortly. There's also more filings from Blake Lively's team crying to the judge that the Wayfair parties have dumped too many documents on them. Also, there is this story that I found very amusing. There's an Italian journalist who went to Venice Film Festival and interviewed Andrew Garfield, Julia Roberts, and Ayo Edebiri, and it turned really cringe. And her interview is going viral. And I have a very special connection to this journalist. I'll tell you that at the end of this episode, so please stay tuned for that. First, let's go to this footnote that I missed. Some of you guys were commenting in my comment section saying there is a footnote here. This sworn statement is from somebody on another movie set. It says that in the footnote of the documents. I completely missed this footnote. So if you missed my episode yesterday, I did speak about this person who's also accusing Justin Baldoni of being verbally abusive on the set and that he was not allowed to be on the set when this person was there and not allowed to be part of the marketing and PR campaign, which really aligns with all the things that Blake Lively has accused Justin Baldoni of. As I said, there is a footnote here that some people pointed out to me. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry if I said I couldn't find the footnote because now I have found it. And you were right, there is a footnote. And it says, this person also had concerns with Mr. Baldoni, who they found to be verbally abusive, which resulted in him not being allowed on the set of the other project or involved in its marketing or publicity. On the set of the other project, what does this really mean? Does this mean that this has to be another person? I actually don't think so. I still don't think so. I think they're going to spin this. I think they're going to say, oh, this was another project within It Ends With Us. This was a project where we did these PR stunts. This is a project, they don't say what movie it is. They don't specify anything. The whole sworn statement is so vague. And there is another clue here that this is Blake Lively herself, because under point 6 here, it says a true and correct copy of blah, 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 produced in Discovery as BL. And then there's a lot of numbers. BL stands for Blake Lively. That is being submitted with this declaration as Exhibit 1, which was the one that I showed you, which is this document that I read from yesterday, which really aligns with all the things that Blake Lively has accused Justin Baldoni of. So this is basically from Blake Lively's discovery. And the fact that it's marked with her initials strongly suggests that it's coming from her. And maybe someone forgot to actually retract that information where it says BL and that number. I don't know. But I still believe that they're trying to spin this, that there's another person here. And it actually works because all the outlets picked it up yesterday. Page 6 is saying Justin Baldoni hit with new harassment allegations as Blake Lively's legal battle rages on. Harassment allegations. It's not really allegations, it's just a sworn statement, if you ask me. But anyways, People is saying Justin Baldoni accused of verbal abuse by unnamed person likely to testify at Blake Lively trial. TMZ is saying verbal abuse claims from another person who may testify at Lively's trial. As I said, I still believe this is Blake Lively herself. Remember, in Another Simple Favor, she could play 3 people. She played triplets. So I think this is a way that they're just spinning this and it's working. And the headlines are everywhere with more people accusing Justin Baldoni. They are building this narrative here. They are building this illusion that something happened, that there was a smear campaign and that there was SH going on the set of It Ends With Us. We know they have zero evidence. And I think if this actually happened somewhere else, it would have gotten out earlier. There must have been a lot of people involved in this other scandal here. And let's pretend that it's someone else. Why didn't they specify that this was a woman if it was a woman? So it might as well be a man then. And if a man has an argument with another man on a set of a movie, This is something that I think happens approximately every single day in Hollywood. So if you have a disagreement with someone on another movie set, that means that you're guilty of SH and a alleged smear campaign against someone else on another movie set. This logic doesn't make any sense whatsoever. And also, if Justin Baldoni was so difficult that this could be true, where are all these people who had difficult and horrible experiences with him? Why has no one come forward while hundreds of people have come forward and talked about their awful experiences with Blake Lively? Zero people has come out to talk about their horrible experience with Justin Baldoni. That's also why I don't believe this. And also the fact that Blake Lively's team have been twisting the truth so many times, as they did with me, as I've said so many times. They made this illusion around me that I was a part of the smear campaign, and they smeared me in the New York Times, creating this perception that it might be true. And I think that's exactly what they're doing here as well. I don't believe for a second that this is another person. And the fact is, in 2 weeks' time, we're all going to forget about this, just like most people now have forgotten about the Van Zandt sham lawsuit. And that's also what they're betting on here. They just want to get enough bad headlines criticizing Justin Baldoni and painting him as an harasser. Remember what they did with Isabella Ferrer? There were headlines everywhere that Justin Baldoni was harassing her because he tried to serve her a subpoena. And same thing is happening here. Another accuser. And it doesn't even say what kind of role Justin Baldoni was supposed to have had in this project at all. Yeah, I don't buy it. Let me know if you have any other ideas. I still believe that this is Blake Lively herself. As I said, there's also a new filing here. Blake Lively's team is furious because the Wayfarer has dumped 80,000 pages on them. How do you get even 80,000 pages together? I don't know, but they're saying that their team now dumped this on them, and they still haven't received these signal messages that they've been talking about lately that's encrypted. And also, as you know, these messages don't exist because the Wayfarer and Jed Wallace use this instant delete function that is on signals. So these messages aren't there, but they still want them and they think that they're going to get them. And now they're saying that the deadline for these signal messages is on September 15th. And that's also the same day that they're going to depose Steve Sarowitz. And they think that they say they need these messages before they depose Steve Sarowitz. I feel like it's only Blake Lively's team that are submitting new evidence all the time. Where are all the text messages between Blake Lively and Taylor Swift? The Wayfair parties are supposed to have access to those. We haven't seen any of those yet. Where are they? Also, a lot of you guys have sent me this video. It's from Kyla on TikTok, who talks about how Ryan Reynolds bullied her friend as a kid.
He was like, yeah, we shared a paper route, and when we were younger, like, I was like a chubby Asian kid with a little Caropi shirt, glasses, and Ryan Reynolds terrorized him. He would throw him into trash cans, push him into dog poop, throw away his papers. And this is like a young immigrant kid trying to like help his family. And I just feel like, oh, karma's so sweet. Get fucked, Ryan.
I don't know why I'm not that surprised about this. I don't know if it's true, if anyone has confirmed that this actually happened. But the way we've seen Ryan Reynolds behave as a grown-up and how he likes to mock people as a grown-up, and how he acted in front of his kid the other day at Toronto Film Festival, this wouldn't really surprise me if it's true. Let me know if you hear anything more about this. Also, someone sent me, thank you so much, Benino, for sending me this video of Angelina Jolie being interviewed on the red carpet by a kid. So this is a lesson for Ryan Reynolds on how you're supposed to act in front of a child who's interviewing you.
Hi, I'm Liam. When you all dressed up for premieres, what snacks do you wish you could hide in your outfits?
Want one?
No. Can I give you one of my favorite snacks?
Yes.
Okay.
Fine.
All right. Oh, I love these. I will definitely. I'll be eating these during the screening.
Will you adopt me?
I'm sure you have a great mommy and daddy, do you? Yeah, but they're awesome.
Thank you.
But you do remind me of my boys. I have two boys from Southeast Asia. Where are you from? What's your family?
Toronto.
And do you know where your great grandparents were from?
China.
China? Very cool.
Thank you.
Very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
You're
too.
very good at this. You should keep doing it.
Bye.
You can say whatever you want about Angelina Jolie. My experiences with her have been amazing. I talked about it here on my channel before. I really like her. She has this warmth about her. She's one of those few people that I've interviewed myself that I feel like she is authentic and she's real and she's so present when she's there with you. And I think the way she talked to this kid and she took the time to speak to him, I feel like she's a good person. I don't know what happened with her and Brad Pitt. No idea what happened in that marriage, but the way that she treats others, the way I've seen her treat others, I feel like she's a good example. Anyways, talking about reporters, this was quite funny. If you missed this video, this is such a treat. Okay, so there is an Italian journalist. Her name is Federica Polidoro, and she works for Italian outlets. I think she's based in Italy. Anyway, she was at the Venice Film Festival and she sat down to interview Andrew Garfield, Julia Roberts, and Ayo Edebiri. Okay, so before I show you this clip, I'm going to subtitle it for you because her Italian accent is so strong. She's saying, in your opinion, what did we lose during the political correct era? And what can we expect in Hollywood after the Me Too movement and Black Lives Matter? And she wanted to only ask that question to Andrew and Julia, who are white, and then there's a black actress sitting there, Ayo, who's like, why are you excluding me in the question about Black Lives Matter? It was super cringe.
During the politically correct era, and what we have to expect in Hollywood after the Me Too movement and the Black Lives Matters are done. The two of you, Andrew and Julia.
Well, okay.
After that, Julia Roberts asked her to repeat the question, and she pointed out that she was wearing sunglasses. She was wearing sunglasses inside interviewing people. I mean, seriously.
Can you repeat that? And I with your sunglasses on, I can't tell which of us you're talking to. So
So the question was for Julia and Andrew. Now that the Me Too era and the Black Lives Matters are done, what we have to expect in Hollywood?
Well,
It's
I
not
didn't.
done.
Sorry, I know that that's not for me, and I don't know if it's purposeful if it's not me, but I just am curious. I don't think it's done.
Okay, so all of them decided to answer the question and they actually gave her a good answer. And Ayo got involved and said, you know, even though you're not asking me this question, I feel like I should also answer it. And the fact is that she actually posted this on YouTube and the backlash was just like enormous. People were like, wow, that's terrible. Why didn't you ask her? And what a horrible question. And all these things. And then she ended up just closing off the comments on her interview. But then this makes it so much worse because then she wanted to come out and explain herself. And she doubled down. And now this makes her look so bad. Every outlet picked this up now. It's on People, Page 6, TMZ. It's everywhere. This journalist is everywhere. And People magazine did a story on her explanation, which made it so much worse. It says here that reporter speaks out after backlash to viral Ayo Edebiri interview with Julia Roberts and Andrew Garfield. Federica Polidoro wrote that conversation regarding her interview with the After the Hunt stars focuses solely on how I should have phrased the question. She's saying that people are criticizing her on how she phrased the question. I don't think so. She took to Instagram on Monday where she wrote, I've been subjected to personal insults and attacks because of a question that for some reason was not well received by some members of the public. She continues this, which is quite funny because it's so ChatGPT, this whole thing that she wrote, because if you hear her English in that interview, she did not write this, okay? And she said, I find it striking that those who unjustly accuse me of racism and consider themselves custodians of justice find acceptable violent language, personal attacks, and cyberbullying. And then she said, I would like to clarify that rather than focusing on the thoughtful responses of Julia, Andrew, and Ayo, the discussion continues solely on how I should have phrased the question. All the contributions from those present were reported in full in the published interview without any omissions. In response to the backlash, Polidoro wrote on her Instagram statement that she believes censoring or delegitimizing questions considered uncomfortable does not fall within the practice of democracy. The journalist also wrote that she has interviewed people of every background and ethnicity, and my own family is multi-ethnic, matriarchal, and feminist with a significant history of immigration. What? What does that have to do with anything, that your family is feminist? She said journalism's role is to ask questions, even on delicate topics, with respect and responsibility. I will not tolerate or accept defamatory or violent language, and I reserve the right to seek legal protection against those who in recent days have chosen to hide behind the digital mob to insult and attack me instead of seeking a civil and constructive discussion. So she's going to sue the people who commented on her Instagram post here. It looks like this is so funny. And I'll tell you why I am really enjoying this. Because this journalist, Federica, wrote a hit piece on me in Vanity Fair 4 or 5 years ago now, when I was suing the Golden Globes for discrimination and for corruption and for self-dealing and all the horrible things that they were doing that made Hollywood cancel them. They were taken off the air because of my lawsuit and because LA Times picked it up and wrote a huge piece on how they have been mishandling everything. Everyone hated this group of people. Anyways, so Federica was fed all this information by one of the members of the Golden Globes, and she wrote this article about me in Vanity Fair. Okay, so I'm going to read this how it was translated right from Italian for you guys. So how this crisis began is a story little known in Italy. It starts with a lawsuit filed by Norwegian journalist Kjersti Flå because the HFPA rejected her membership several times. The correspondent in question, after having stolen confidential information from the association, thanks to a relationship with Magnus Sundholm, a Swedish member of the HFPA, Hollywood Foreign Press, who was running the Golden Globes, took the group to court, but twice she lost miserably. So she's basically saying that I stole confidential information from the headquarters of Hollywood Foreign Press of the Golden Globes and gave to the LA Times. Then, and Magnus helped me. Then she said, not accepting defeat, Flaw, me, who these days is enjoying her 15 minutes of fame by proclaiming herself the redeemer of Hollywood, tried to take revenge by offering the material and accusations deemed unfounded by the federal judge to the Los Angeles Times. At that point, Time's Up seized the opportunity and became a supporter of the cause, worried about the internal turmoil in its own ranks. Basically, this whole article is trying to make Hollywood Foreign Press Association, the Golden Globes, the victims, and saying that they were just like victims of cancel culture. And she's pointing at me specifically because I sued them. And I think it's funny now that she's talking about the 15 minutes of fame, because I think it's time for Federica's 15 minutes of fame here. Anyway, so a friend of mine who is Italian sent me this article and he said, wow, you should sue this woman or sue Vanity Fair over this article. And he pointed me to an Italian attorney and I spoke to him and he took the case and we settled this case just a few months ago. I can't talk more about it because it was a settlement there, but it's really funny to me now how karma has its way around. And now it's Federica's 15 minutes of fame. I hope she's enjoying this moment. And also, she did get accepted as a voter of the Golden Globes after she published this article. So now she is a proud member of the Golden Globes as one of the voters over there. If you haven't watched my videos about the Golden Globes, you can find them here on my channel. To me, it's the most toxic group out there. And the thing is, when all of this came to light through my lawsuit, everyone stepped away from them. Everyone said, we don't want anything to do with this group anymore. All the studios were like, we're boycotting them. And then finally, they lost their TV deal with NBC. And then this billionaire came along and he was like, I'll buy the brand from you guys and put you back on television and I'll pay you as employees of the Golden Globes instead. So that's what happened. They got a new contract. Then he fired all of them. And now, in a very interesting twist, they are planning to sue him because they feel he tricked them. This story is so crazy, you guys. I'm sure I'm going to make more videos on that in the future. I have so much to talk about when it comes to the Golden Globes. and the fact that Hollywood just welcomed them back and they hadn't really changed at all. Anyways, I just wanted to share that because I thought when I saw her name, I was like, wow, it's her. And I feel like karma has a way of just sitting around waiting for that right moment, and you don't know when it is. But I feel like justice will always prevail in the end. Anyways, that's it from you guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and please like and share and hype and check if you've been unsubscribed, if you are subscribed, and if you're not, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss an episode of Blossom Talk, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.